So we're super excited to have Suzette Bray here. She's a licensed marriage and family therapist, and she's the founder and executive director of Village Counseling and Wellness. And she works with a team of passionate and highly trained clinicians who provide comprehensive DBT, Dialectical Behavior Therapy, and other evidence-based practices. She has over 15 years of clinical experience and has created and run several innovative mental health programs for adults, children, adolescents, and families. She has a unique insight into strategies and solutions for positive change and growth. Suzette is an intensely trained DBT therapist and also has received extensive advanced training in DBT from thought leaders throughout the field. She's trained and supervised several clinicians and has significant teaching experience at the undergraduate and graduate levels. And she also speaks often on topics of parenting, mental health, issues of adolescents, mindfulness, and DBT. So let's give her a round of applause.
I am truly a DBT therapist because I actually walked up here with my phone in case somebody needs a phone coach. I'm going to ignore that while I'm with you here. So what I'm supposed to say is that I'm really happy to be here. I'm supposed to be all like, I'm just so jazzed to talk to you. But actually, kind of what's happening is that I'm pretty nervous. I always get a little bit freaked out at these kind of things. And so what I notice is that when nerves start to come up, when anxiety starts to come up, things don't get ruled by my prefrontal cortex anymore, right? Everything kind of goes down to this old school brain stem, this internal primitive brain, right? And boy, it is perceiving threat right now like you wouldn't believe. I am like a cave person with a saber-toothed tiger after me right now. I'm having all kinds of anxiety happening, right? And so what are those physiological symptoms associated with fear? Right? There's breathlessness. Yes, you can probably hear my voice a little up here. And I'm gonna like stop and take a breath and bring that down. But rapid heartbeat, yep. I'm not wearing my Fitbit right now, but if we looked, it'd be a little higher, right? Always great for setting up all that kind of paranoia and concern and about illnesses is to like constantly watch your heart rate. It's a good one. Muscle tension, yeah. Nausea, butterflies, yes, and I promise not, anybody in the front row, I will not vomit on you, I promise. Feeling cold or clammy, now I'm in menopause, I always feel hot. Shaking, little bit. Perspiring, maybe, and feeling of hair standing on end, maybe, could be, okay. So, you know what, I'm gonna try to listen to that primitive brain of mine, and the primitive brain is saying, there's threat, fight or flight is what's going on. So I think I'm gonna go with what my old school cave person brain is telling me, and I'm going to hide. Oh wait. There's nowhere to hide. Well, that's not going to work. Okay, well, I'm going to try another situation. I'm going to try something that's a little more directed. I am going to do a little cognitive restructuring. We all know this, CBT basic, right? We reframe, we look at things from a different viewpoint. Okay, I'm going to tell myself, okay, you guys are pretty friendly. I don't think anybody came here specifically to stalk me. Yes, everybody's bag is pretty big, and there might be rotten tomatoes that you're planning on throwing at me. I don't think so, though. Okay. I don't think that's really helping with my anxiety very much. It's not coming down. Okay, I'm going to try a different type of cognitive restructuring. I am going to imagine you all in your underwear. That's a classic, right? Looking good. You been working out? Yeah. Nice. Okay. Oh shoot, a different emotion is starting to fire. Because you know what? I just sexually harassed everybody in this room. I talked about underpants in a professional setting. Oh boy. I know, so one of you's contacting the BBS right now, right? Okay, get me to lose my license. So what emotion is firing? Shame, right? I want to hide. I'm like, oh, that feeling of dread, everybody knows that feeling, that like, I blew it, right? Sense of dread, wanting to shrink down or disappear, hide, cover face or body, looking down or away from others. Yes, I want to do all of that. And they didn't give me a vase big enough so I could. Thank you, destinations. Okay, so. Okay, I'm going to try another common intervention that people might do. I am going to do process-oriented therapy and tell you all about my past in hopes that I will gain insight and feel better. Mr. Therapist Cat, you have never met my mother, and this is going to take years. I don't have time. I got to finish this speech, right? Okay. Let's see. What else can I do? Oh, validation is the sense that we get from others that they understand what we're going through, and it seems understandable, right? And so if I reflect to you something and then you come back to me and say, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? Then my emotional level will come down, right? So somebody validate me. Somebody tell me that it makes sense that I'm kind of like, ooh, right now.
You're looking great.
Well, that is praise and I will take it. But anybody else, like, get a little wigged out standing up in front of a group of people?
Yes. Absolutely.
All those head nods and the yas were so validating. That should have helped. And yet, my SUDS, my subjective units of distress, are way too high right now for that to really make a difference. And SUDS, which we talk about all the time in DBT world, people use it in cognitive behavioral therapy, but it's the idea of a subjective, meaning based on my opinion and what's going on for me, rating of how bad I feel right now. And the higher my level of SUDS are, the more difficult it's going to get in through this prefrontal cortex. It's gone right now. It wants nothing to do with any of this. I can't hear you. I can't take it in. My body's going wild with emotion. So if my SUDS are too high, then all these wonderful interventions that work so well when people are more regulated are not gonna be very helpful. Have you ever had that, somebody in the office and they're far gone, nothing's happening, you could say anything to them and it's just pounding. There's nothing that they can take in right now. In DBT world, we have a theory to explain why incredible interventions don't work for some people some of the time. For some of our folks, they don't work very well at all until we can help teach some other ways to regulate. So some folks, we think probably about 15% of the population are just born with a higher level of emotional sensitivity. They feel things bigger. They've got bigger feelings receptors, right? And an emotion comes and it kicks them to the curb. Whereas somebody else might not feel it so hard. So if you feel it harder, you're gonna have a stronger reaction, so you're gonna go up more quickly, and you're gonna have a much slower return to baseline. So folks come into therapy, and sometimes it can take a whole session just to come down enough, and then by the time you're just walking out to the lobby again, nothing got done, right? So these folks, and these are my people, these are the folks who are on fire with emotion. They feel the feelings a lot. And remember, they're called feelings, why? Because they're body sensations really in their origin, right? Think about all the different body sensations associated with certain feelings. If I ask somebody, show me what sadness looks like, everybody would change their body, right? They kind of slump down, right? And it kind of comes with that heaviness of chest, right? That lethargy. It's a feeling, right? It's a body sensation by its very nature, right? And then the brain gets involved and does all kinds of interpretations around it. So, having had a lot of people in my office over the years who are who are feeling this way, and frankly being a little bit that way myself, have to figure out ways that aren't going to go through here sometimes, so that you can get the body calmed down so that everything else can start to go in. We can do things that go in through the brain. So the idea is if we're on fire, we're going to fight fire with fire and do more body-based ways to regulate emotion. Now in DBT world, we've got various skills that involve changing body sensations, involve addressing those. Now, this is, I've kind of switched around. We're going to talk a lot about DBT skills today, but they're going to be in this kind of structure that is not DBT approved, right? Marsha Linehan, the inventor of DBT, is not sitting there going, turbocharged, I totally came up with that, right? She's probably like going, oh my gosh, can you believe that chick who's talking about my skills this way? But, oh, Shane's still firing, oh good. Okay, so we're gonna start off slow and steady, okay? And then we're gonna pick up some speed, and then I'm gonna give you some turbocharged skills that you can use for yourself, for clients, and with my little boy all the time, okay, that will address the body sensations to be able to change or regulate emotions. So let's start off slow and steady, okay. These are the slower acting skills. These are the ones that grandma said to do, that we never listened to, and then we spend millions of dollars researching to say, yes, do that, and all we need to do is listen to grandma, right? So in DBT world, we've got the please skills, okay? And please is one of our really more pressured acronyms in DBT. We're very acronym happy in DBT world. This one is really kind of pushing it hard. And so we're gonna reduce vulnerability to emotion mind with these please skills. Addiction, folks, you know halt, right? That's when cravings go up, when hungry, angry, lonely, tired. This is very similar. We can be doing just swell, and then we get hit with a cold, or we get hit with being too fatigued, not sleeping well, eating something funky, and then we're more like, it's like we're gonna end up in the car crying, banging our head against the steering wheel on a day, because we didn't get enough sleep and all of that, on a day we would normally just kind of, it wouldn't bother us so much. I'm tired, I don't feel so good. So everything pokes, right? So here's how we're gonna address that. We're gonna reduce our day-to-day vulnerability to emotion by treating physical illness. It's a very pressured acronym. Okay. We're gonna avoid mood-altering substances except the ones our psychiatrist prescribed to us, right? We're gonna balance sleep, and we're gonna get exercise. Nothing we all know about, right? We're all doing it, right? Yeah, me neither. No, it ain't happening every day. I try. Okay, so then there are faster skills that can address this, that they're a little more fast acting, but they still have a lot of bang for their buck, but they're not as drastic as these turbocharged skills I'm going to get to. Okay, so changing posture or facial expression. We have this thing in DBT, when we don't want to accept something that we don't like, which happens to me pretty much every day, several times a day, right? What happens to the body? Right? Think about the surliest teenager you've ever met, right? Well, that's gonna fuel more anger, right? More upset, more agitation. So what we do in DBT is we do this. We do willing hands. When I'm having a hard time accepting something, I open my body posture. It's not just me, everybody. We're coaching everybody to do that. So if I've got a teenager and a parent in the room and they're there with the leg, right? Open it up, right? We go to willing hands. I don't want it. We're gonna do it anyway, right? There's also this really cool trick I learned from Alan Frazzetti, who's the guy who intensively trained me in DBT, and I think he's just so awesome. It's called ET mindfulness. and it's another way to use the body to regulate emotion. So, you're my mom, and everything about you bothers me, and I can't stand you, and I don't want to be in the same room with you right now. And frankly, you're probably feeling the same, right? E.T. me, baby. We're just going to sit here quietly and connect. And believe it or not, it sounds so hokey. It sounds so ridiculous. I have the eye rolls in my office practically like shoot the ceiling out, right? But you watch couples and kids and families, it starts to regulate just through that little tiny quiet touch. Nutty, I know, but it works. It works. Do it with my boy all the time. We don't do ET, we do this. Zzz. Right? It just, when things are getting heated, it takes us down. It just reminds us we love each other, right? That's hard to remember sometimes. You know? They make them cute for a reason. So you don't kill them. Okay? Okay, so then we've got half smile. Okay, and we combine this up with willing hands because it's another way to accept reality. When I don't like what's going on, what happens to my face? Right? Or your version of it, right? I may tense up, I may clench my jaw, right? The idea is that you're going to consciously relax those facial muscles, right? Because remember in Psych 101, facial feedback theory? It's really old school. I think it's William James, right? This is like 1800s psychology. It's the idea that